It's Deprogrammed. My name is Justin, and I'm just this dude who talks first. I guess that's the best way to put myself forward on my own program. Hey, today we're talking Massive Attack. I'm going to get this big sell out of the way first. $1 a month, patreon.com/ohhijustin helps me a great deal. I have got a lot of things in the works. A very super exciting meeting yesterday about something. Me and Jennie have a thing on the horizon.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I think
have a thing.
I think there's like some production coming up soon too, actually, so, to make it actually look like a real thing. I'm looking forward to it. And, we've got, this, you get Deprogrammed 3 days early. You get Oh Hi Justin, all 5 days of it, 1 full week ahead of the rest of the world. You get the hashtag WrestlePals pod right to your, whatever, wherever you get it.
Into your ear holes.
Into your ear holes, especially. You also get These Ghouls demos and covers and whatever else I'm doing with that madness. And just whatever else I'm going to be doing in the coming months, years, however long you decide to say. Patreon.com/ohhijustin. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Today we're talking about Massive Attack. And this is a band that's kind of been on the periph. Like, I've known who they are, but I never really took the deep dive in. So we're going to start by introducing the panel. Jennie, of course, joining us.
Hi.
And Jody becoming the regular.
Well, at this point, I might as well just set up a cot in the corner.
just hang out all the time. It'll be good times.
Yeah, slumber party.
Yeah. Actually, so you guys obviously know this. The listeners may not. I try to do like messaging. Like I make a group message of the panel. I think, Jody, you're in like 4 different messages right now.
That sounds about right.
So there's the Massive Attack, there's Train, there's Aha, and then there's Reverend Horton Heat.
Yes.
The one I just made. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting times. I made sure, and before we start talking about the group, the band, there's not been enough Jennie Zell on the Deprogrammed.
I've been on like hiatus, I guess.
Yeah, you did the
Phoenix.
first one back, you did the Hives,
Yes.
then you did Phoenix, and then it was Forever, and then it was Pearl
Like
Jam.
all summer.
Yeah.
Which that was kind of weird for me because all of a sudden I was like, I had been doing a lot, and then all of a sudden it was like none.
Well, I was talking to Brian last week, maybe? No, the week before when we did Blondie. And it's just like, you guys were trying to get on the same show.
Yeah.
And you're bouncing
We
bands
don't
off each
agree
other.
on bands, apparently.
Yeah, and I guess that's why it hasn't happened. So you put Massive Attack out there first. And I will say this, when I bounce over to Jody, like, this is the fastest I think a panel has ever come together. So you put Massive Attack out there. What was it that made you, because it's been years, and then suddenly you're like, Massive Attack.
Sometimes you just like assume that you've already mentioned a band that you really like.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I just looked at the list and I was like, why isn't Massive Attack up there? But they're also a band for me that I kind of like, I don't forget about them so much, but they kind of go on the back burner a little bit every couple of years. And I happened to have just listened to a song fairly recently and I was like, man, they're so good. It's kind of like, when you haven't seen an old friend in forever. I was like, have they been mentioned for Deprogrammed yet? No. Here we go.
So you threw them into the Learn Them and Love Them group because I was collecting stuff in there, which sometimes it's actually easier in there. Less than 10 minutes, maybe. Jody was like, "I'll do that."
Yeah, and because I'll do that about once a week, maybe once every other week. I'll go in and just kind of look through the list, see if anything new's been added.
Right.
And apparently was right on your heels.
Right.
I swear, I think that's the fastest a panel has ever come together.
Nice.
Whereas the longest was My Chemical Romance, which we're recording tomorrow. You'll hear next week. But Leslie put it out there a couple months after I started the show.
Oh, wow.
And the panel didn't come together until we recorded Silverchair.
And then all of a sudden, like 50 people want to be on the panel.
And suddenly everybody's a My Chemical Romance fan. So that was really interesting. All right. So again, Massive Attack was, I know it from House. I mean, like, I knew
You and
Okay.
everyone else.
Right, exactly. So it's like, it's the one song that I knew going in. So
Okay, I have to admit, I've never seen the show. I don't know, like, what is the song that's used in
it's
that?
Teardrop.
Teardrop
Okay.
is used in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And See, House is basically 6 seasons of the same episode over and over again.
It's not lupus. That's all I know about the show.
It was interesting. It was they found a way to make It's Not Lupus a very interesting show for a good number of years, but it is the same episode over and over and over again.
I mean, I watched Law and Order. I can't really say.
Chung chung.
It's not an episode of a podcast unless I mention Law and Order.
Chung chung.
Or is it dun dun?
You see,
Dun dun.
Yeah, that's the Sesame Street does chung chung, and that's why I do chung chung.
It's definitely not dunk dunk.
No,
It's ridiculous.
that's something totally
Totally
different.
different.
So, what made you jump on so quick? So obviously you're a fan,
Right.
Jody.
They're one of those, I guess, not dissimilar from Jennie. They're one of those bands that I don't think about them until they're in front of my face. And then once they are, I can't get them out of my head. And it's interesting because when that showed up, and I don't even now remember what it was I was listening to, but I was listening to a song and Tricky did like a line in it. And I was like, that voice is familiar. Oh, that's Trick. Oh, Massive Attack. I need to go listen to them. And then it showed up in the group. And like, oh, well, this is awesome.
Destiny.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. So I'll tell you this. I don't know that Massive Attack would have worked as a walking band, which has really been my thing so far this go around with Deprogrammed. But I did some work with a friend, like cleaning houses and stuff and painting. Perfect for it. Like,
Yeah.
It's just kind of like driving, like it's just here.
It's got a good steady beat.
Yeah.
Usually.
Easy to get lost in.
Yeah. It's very ambient type of music. And I think it's perfect for this time of year. Like they always have like a very like ominous and kind of a spooky kind of spooky. just a very autumn Halloween era type of sound to me.
Yeah.
So
Not Thanksgiving.
no.
But it's okay. It's interesting watching so I told you this is a little bit of a spoiler alert. So I pushed play while I was walking one night to listen to the first 2 records, and I was like, not impressed. I get to Mezzanine. Mezzanine blew my mind. Like, I just suddenly had a completely different view of the band, and then it changed. It changed my thoughts of the first 2 records. Yeah. So I went back and listened to the, like, in context of from Mezzanine on.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh, well, this just became way harder than it needed to. So with that being said, I know both of you had a really hard time cutting down to 20.
That is a way of putting it.
So tell me about it.
This was an interesting process for me because at first I had trouble even getting to 20 because I was being very, very particular about like which songs I was picking. Like as I'm listening to the songs, I'm like, what can I say about this song? I'm taking a totally different approach to putting my list together. Like, what can I say about this song on the show? Why am I choosing this song? So I only had like 10 or 15 songs at first. And I was like, well, I got to go back and listen to them some more and be a little bit less particular this time. Like, just anything that catches my attention. And then all of a sudden I had 30 songs. And I was like, well, shit.
Now, was that before or after we went off list?
That was right around the same time. That was as I was looking for other things to include. I started adding more, and I was like, wait a minute, now I've got 30 songs. Okay, let me reel it back in.
It's funny you mentioned that because I think 33 was my initial number. And then if I didn't just start cutting stuff, I think I would have been in the same boat as y'all. Because I don't know, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, so I've got 33, and if I don't just slash this song for no real reason, just so I get down to 20. Yeah. So I ended up leaning more towards like framing a sound again. And which I find when I'm in that situation, having trouble to get down to 20, framing the sound is the way I want to go. Because it's like, sure, this one may technically be a better song. This one I might like a little bit better, but this one sounds like them. And I'd rather put that towards somebody
I try to do that, but I had a very, very strong bias towards certain types of their sound. And I couldn't get away from it because I just, when it comes down to it, I have to be able to defend my choice on the show. So it's like, if I like this song so much better than this song, then the first one is going to be the one that I end up choosing, even though I have 3 other songs that sound just like it.
And that is, I think, part of the problem I had is that this particular part of their sound, because they're an electronica band in a loosely defined way. They're a trip hop band, they're an R&B band, they're a soul band, they're a whatever it is that they feel like they want to do at this particular moment band. And so framing a sound is hard because you have to, if you're going to do that, you either have to pick a subgenre that they play in and call that their sound, or you have to dig down into the way that they use kick drums and their bass line and call that their sound, which that opens everything up and gives you a 30-song list again.
So I think at one point you had your 20, but then you just kept adding.
Right.
Like you refined.
Well, this thing is that way I build my lists, I start oldest first, and I play everything. Play all of the way through. And as I hear a song that piques my interest in any way, it gets added to a list. And then I go back and take that list and listen through, again, in time order, and decide, is this going to be in the part of the first 10 of my list or part of the second 10 of my list? And at that time, I don't care about how many are in that list. My first 10 could have 15 in it. This is good enough for me to put it on the front half of my list. Then I go through and actually start listening to that list in order, first 10, second 10, and start kind of rearranging them and see what falls off the bottom. But I'm usually able to go, okay, well, this song was good enough for it to get my attention. This song was even maybe good enough for me to put it in the first or second 10 of my list. But now I'm looking at that going, this isn't going to survive. Let me just kick it off. None of those got cut. I cut at the end by re-listening to that 30-song, 20-song list 3 different times and deciding based on either how the lyrics played with the melody, deciding on the technical quality of the production, or just any other criteria that I could grab out of my ass to help say, okay, well, this song needs to fall down a slot. And then I had 22. And so last night before I went to bed, I cut number 22 out.
Yeah.
I have 21 songs, Justin. You're just going to have to suck it up.
No, that's fine. I do it all the time.
I may have 21 also. I
bring
can't count.
21 and then it's like, okay, we'll cut one live. Whatever works.
We'll do it live.
We will do it live. I again, like there were so many songs that I enjoyed, and it's like, well, how do I cut this? It's like, well, if I don't, I'm going to be racking my brain, and I don't want to do that. So I hate going back to the tried and true of, I don't think there's a bad answer. But again, this is one of those bands where I really don't think there's a bad answer. There's some that like have to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's maybe 7 to 15-ish that'll be like, no, this is cool. And
yeah.
I also so we put out every week the what do you consider the essential of the band post. I got way more response to that than I thought I would.
I actually did too. Like I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be like 5 people or something at the most.
I figured that most of the people that seem to pay attention and respond in the groups and all wouldn't have known they knew who Massive Attack was.
Right. Right. But here, let me bring it up because I forgot to type it in because.
And people seem to prefer the earlier stuff from what I saw too,
which was interesting.
I was a little bit surprised about, to be honest, because I mean, to be fair, one of the people that was responding, that was naming on the earlier ones, he's an English guy, so he's probably maybe was aware of them a little bit earlier than we were in America. So
maybe a little bit of a I knew them biased.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. So I got 10 answers, which is, I mean, and not a lot of crossover. Like it's 10 different songs, and only 1, 2, 3 got more than one, which I thought was interesting.
Sometimes I kind of wonder if people are not naming the songs that other people have already said. So like maybe that's why you're not getting as many duplicates, because it's like, oh, this one's already been mentioned. So
maybe. I also thought about today that I never really explained why I was asking that. So I think I might do that this week.
It could be for the best, though. You get a more honest answer that way.
Also true. Because My Chemical Romance got a nice little response too, but this isn't about them, Jody.
No.
I don't know why you're trying to get me to talk about My Chemical Romance.
It's because everybody's a fan.
Yes. So
Closet fans, yeah.
we're talking about Massive Attack today, and the name of the game is Deprogrammed. So as we said, the three of us sat down. We pulled together 20 songs from their discography that we're going to now. Maybe we're going to bounce them off of each other and find out what the 10 essential Massive Attack songs to give to you who may not have ever given this band a chance. And just a few notes going in. Hopefully we won't need the new trash protocol, which I won't explain, but everybody is familiar with the new trash protocol, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then if it lands on 2 of our lists, it makes it to the conversation. If it makes it on all 3 of ours, it's a unanimous decision, and it makes it all the way through to the 10. So I already mentioned the song. It's the one I knew going in. And it's basically the tone setter for what the band I thought they were going to be. So I'm putting it out here first because it feels like the one. Teardrop.
I have that as well.
Yep. Because I don't care how much everybody knows it. If it's good.
If it's good, it's good. Yeah.
I think I'm kind of glad that I didn't know that it was a theme song, because it might have made me a little bit more biased against it. But I knew it long before it was a theme song. So,
yeah.
That's absolutely one of my favorites.
It's a good tune, and I initially it's what I thought the band was going to be, and although that is absolutely one of their sounds, I was happy to find out that it's not. That wasn't all they were. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it's a great place to start. Mm-hmm. So, we will go to the left, Jenny.
Okay. I think similarly, I'm going to start with the song that got me introduced to the band. And that was also from Mezzanine. This song was used in the Pie movie soundtrack.
Oh.
And this is how I got associated with the band. I have very strong memories, strong-ish memories of watching the movie Pie in an altered state with my friend in his college dorm room. And the song is Angel.
I got it.
Yes.
Oh.
Angel survived.
I felt almost kind of guilty putting that on the list, because that was one of their other ones that kind of everybody knew. It was used in a lot of movies in the late 90s and stuff, but I just felt like, you can't have a conversation about the band without that song.
That's one of the ones the listeners, like, it was a duplicate.
Yeah.
It got the most votes. So we were right on with that one. And it's unanimous, and it's in. All right, Jody?
All right, then I will go ahead and play from the top of my list, which may or may not be the one I would want to be the number one, but it is still the top of my list because agony, shuffling, and 21 songs. Safe from Harm.
Yep.
I remember it, but I don't think... Nope. Which album is that?
Blue Lines.
It's Blue Lines.
Okay. There it is.
That was I think one of the first ones that I heard that was not Mezzanine, because Mezzanine was my introduction to the band. And then I went and, I can't remember if it was Napster or LimeWire at the time, went and got some of their other stuff. And that was one of the ones that stood out to me too.
Clearly I was wrong, because, again, Safe from Harm, one of the ones we got from the listeners. So either I just didn't give it a fair enough second listen, because there's a lot of those that did not get a fair shake the second time around. But it's in the combo. So, shoot, that's a pretty good first round. 2 in and 1 in the combo. So we're doing all right.
What happens if we get too many from the same album? Are you allowed to cut from the unanimous ones? Has that ever happened?
It has never happened. But
Interesting.
if we do and we decide, nah, this ain't right, we'll shuffle it around. I think this one I'm going with based on message, even though I do think it's a terrific song, but I'm putting it this far out in front because of the message. Protection.
Yes.
That one was just tremendous. And I remember not necessarily. I obviously didn't break down and cry while I was working, but I was like, I definitely had to stop what I was doing for a minute. I was like, wow, this was. It's a message song.
Yeah, it's very moving.
And that's one of the things that this band does well. Like, they can move you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means, shake that ass a little zomperism. Most of but most of the time it's move you right there in the heart, like a little bit of swell. And I dug that about them. All right, Jenny?
I think, you know what? I'm going to go with, because I just have to say this one because of who I am. I don't know how to say the most recent album, Heligo. How do you say it? Heligoland. I don't know. That one.
It's an archipelago in Germany, but I do not know how to pronounce it because I don't think it's actually a German word. I think it was taken from another language, so I don't know what the pronunciation is.
The one that starts with H.
That one.
Good way to put it.
I should have looked it up before we started the show. I didn't get to that point. Like, I was still busy trying to cut my list down to 20.
Yeah, no, right. I didn't know anywhere near as much research as I usually do for this.
But I have to mention this one because David Albarn does the vocals on it. And Saturday Comes Slow.
I got it.
Yep.
Oh,
nice.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Wowzers, McTavish. Swinging for the fences.
And I have to say this too, because I don't know if James Duvall listens to all the episodes or not, but one of the things I think that sets Massive Attack apart from the Gorillaz album, where they had a lot of featured vocals, when you listen to Massive Attack and all these different featured voices, it still sounds like Massive Attack.
Yeah.
And it's just very, it's a very strong sound where, like, compared to Gorillaz' most recent album, where it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, like the entire sound is different on everything. So I just, I wanted to put that out there because they do use a lot of different voices.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even just on their most recent album, I think they had like 6 different vocal feature,
Yeah.
So
putting them out there. All right, Jody.
All
Can
right.
we keep it alive? I mean, we are also safe at the point where it's like I feel like we can take big swings and misses already.
Right. Well, I suppose if you're gonna feel comfortable and just going crazy,
Let's go crazy.
then I suppose what I will do is I'll go real crazy, and I will play off list.
Oh,
The Spoils.
actually, I have that one.
I don't, because like I said, I wouldn't have a chance to get to it. But that was also clearly I'm wrong. I should have gotten to it because that was one of the songs that was recommended.
It was a late ad for us too.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Hope Sandoval is everything. I love Mazzy Star, so Tonight That I Might See is my favorite album ever. So if she's doing a thing that causes her voice to enter my ear holes, I am there.
Going out of your way.
It's going to happen.
All right. So, I mean, it's in the convo. Not bad for something that was off lit. I think that may be a first.
And I watched that video earlier today. I don't know if you watched that.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't as unsettling as the other one that came out at the same time, but it was very artistic and very beautiful. And I want to watch that one a couple more times and see what I can absorb from it.
I've seen that video. I've watched it 3 times now since working on this. And every time I watch it, I notice something a little different that I didn't notice the last time. And the last time that I watched it, I think what visually they were trying to do finally sunk in, and the song almost has a different meaning to me now.
That is something that I noticed with the other one, the other music video. What was it? Come Near Me?
Or Come Near Me.
Yeah.
I will never watch that video again. I will never, ever watch that video again.
I might have to agree with you on that. It was a fantastic video. I think everybody should watch it, but know that it is very unsettling. Like I was disturbed watching it, and I almost had to pause it for a minute and kind of like take a breath and walk away. Like we were talking about this in the car on the way up here. It's almost like watching an episode of Black Mirror. It's that level of it just gets to you and kind of hits you in the psyche.
I think the scene where they cut the music from them and when the
Yes.
car pulls up and they're playing another Massive Attack song in the car. Of
course.
That scene and the way that part of it plays out made the video more painful to watch.
Yes.
Because this whole video is basically an expression of toxic masculinity.
Oh.
And the female lead in the video spends the entire video voiceless, walking backwards away from a man who walks towards her voiceless. And it is clear that she doesn't want him anywhere near her. She won't run, but she keeps her distance. And halfway through the video, this car pulls around and there's a woman driving it. And she pulls up and stops and is looking at this woman. First off, trying to figure out why she's walking backwards. Then she sees the man continuing to progress towards her. The look on her face is realization of what's happening, but she does nothing.
And I almost kind of got the sense that it may have been a friend of hers that recognized her and kind of was like, hey, come on. And she's kind of like...
And then she just lets it go. It's like, oh, I was already... And then you did that.
Wow.
And I just have to say, I almost squeezed that one in as my number 21 song just because I wanted to have a conversation about this video.
Well, there it is.
So,
we find ways.
Here we go.
We find ways.
The interesting thing about that video is that if I had just listened to the song first, I would have had a completely different interpretation of the song. Like it sounded like a very sexy song, but then you watch the video and it's very like just aggressive and unsettling. And I'm not sure that I think everybody should watch it because it was a good message, but it definitely skewed my perspective of how I'm even going to listen to that song from now on.
Wow.
So it was interesting. And I think the same thing with the spoils. It added another dimension to the song to be able to see the visuals that they did with it. So
These seem like my kind of chaps.
Because for me, the spoils, listening to it, because the first time that I played it, because I played it on YouTube, because I get all my music is through Google Play Music, and they don't have that EP yet. So it was YouTube. But I was doing it at work, so my phone was on the desk, earbuds in, wasn't watching the screen, I just heard it. And as I'm listening to it, I can't decide whether this is a song about accepting loss of a relationship to another person that you're okay with, in concept at least, or whether it was a song about compersion and having a lover that has another lover and you're okay with that because they have another thing they like. And then I watched the video, and the video very clearly is about a slow deterioration. It starts with this really high resolution image of this woman, and it starts degrading to lower bit rate, and then it becomes an old worn VHS tape, and over time the head turns into a statue, and by the end of the video this now rock statue has abraded away to the point that it's just a head-like shape with no features. Wow. It's like, okay, well, your video has defined what this song is trying to be, and I'm still not entirely sure which way I want to see it. But clearly the end of this is a fading.
Wow. My kind of chaps. Wow. All right, so I've got some watching to do at least after this.
we went way off tangent on that one.
What's funny is the Butthole Surfers episode's coming out this week, and my brother said, hey, sorry I kept going off tangent. I'm like, no, that's what this show's about. Like, tell me why you like the band. I mean, the list is fun. I'm sorry, I'm going off tangent now, but I'm telling you, the listener, and if you're somebody who's interested in being a panel member, that's what I want to know. I want to know why you are a fan, and that info being parlayed to me now gives me reason to take that information. I'm going to view the band differently now,
Right.
which I need.
One of the people that I was telling about this podcast initially when I first started talking to you just about being on one of the episodes, and they were trying to like, well, what's this thing about? What do you do? And I explained it, and I clearly didn't explain it well the first time around. They're like, so you just reading out lists of songs? I'm like, no. Well, I mean, there's a couple episodes that did go that way,
Yeah.
but ideally, no. you're trying to sell everybody else on why this song should be not just it's a good song. Where does it come from?
Yeah. And which, for the record, sometimes I just like the song is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes there isn't anything deeper than that. I just liked how it sounded. Sometimes that's fine. But it's always better if there's more reason to it.
Right.
So take that into account if you plan on being a panel member. You don't have to come deep. I would appreciate it, but you don't have to come deep. So
phrasing.
Heyo. All right. I think I'm going to go here. I'm going to trot this one out. 100th Window was a weird one for me because when I first went through it, I didn't pull anything. I was just like,
Same.
But then when I went back through, I was like, no, I like this one and this one. And then I ended up with like 4 or 5.
Exactly the freaking same.
So this one stuck out the first time enough that it ended up sticking around. What Your Soul Sings.
That is actually the number 21 on my list.
That was my number 21 also.
But it didn't start out as a 21. I pushed it down to make room for something else because I had something else from 100th Window in there. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to cut this out, I guess if Justin makes me kill my 21, I have to pick one. And I made it that one. But like I said, I have 21, Justin, and this is 21, and I have it.
So what we'll do is we'll put it in the convo, but it'll be at the bottom of the list. So you can trot your other one out and see if Jennie has it or see if I have it. You never know. We'll put it in the convo instead of making it unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I really wanted that one in there, and I don't know how many I actually end up having when I came in here because, like I said, I didn't count properly. And I don't know if I had put Come Near Me in the list as 21 or if that was 20 and bumped What Your Soul Sings. So
Gotcha.
And another reason, the main reason that one's I decided that had to stay was I only have one other from 100th Window and that made it. And one of the other ones that I ended up cutting at the end was the other song that Sinead O'Connor did.
Right.
I do not know how to pronounce the name she changed it to recently. So I'm not going to try to say it and get it totally wrong. But the other song that she was on that album was the other one I cut. And I'm like, but her voice is on this album.
Yeah.
Her voice is part of this album, and I didn't want to not have it.
Yep. All right. Well, like I said, we'll put it through to the combo. That way, it's still there if we need it. All right, Jennie.
I'm going to jump around a little bit. I think I'm going to jump back to Blue Lines. I'm going to go with Hymn of the Big Wheel.
Nope, I don't have it.
And it was a late cut for me, an agonizing late cut for me.
Wow.
And the only reason that I let myself cut it is because I have another song on here that Horace Andy did. And so, again, his voice is, at this point, part of the band. He's done so many songs with them that he's functionally part of the band, and I didn't want to lose him. So... But I had another one that I felt better about, but it was a late last night, late cut.
That one was one that I really liked the message of it. They're basically saying like, yeah, the world sucks. We're not really offering any solutions to this right here in this song, but can we do something about this? And it happened to be that I was listening to it on the day that somebody shot up a synagogue. And it kind of hit me in a certain way on that day. And I was like, you know what? I like this. I like this message. I'm going to put this in, even though it was theirs was a little bit more about like pollution and global warming and that sort of thing. I think that the message itself resonates and is kind of timeless. So,
well, I mean, if nothing else, it got out into the conversation. So
mission accomplished.
There you go. All right, Jody.
Alrighty, let's see here.
That was our first whiff.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, again, at this point, there's four unanimous, 3 in the combo. So
we're doing all right.
We're doing pretty dang good.
I think I'm going to do this. It's another off list. It is a incredibly sexy song, and it had to be here. Take It There.
I don't have that one.
I will type that over here.
See, I pretty much only have access to Spotify, so if I didn't see it on Spotify, And especially now that at work, I only have the Spotify web player, and it kind of hides a lot of the singles and EPs and stuff.
It was on Ritual Spirit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I really gave that one the proper listen through, because that was one of the ones that we added kind of at the last minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think, at least of all of the Massive Attack songs I have heard, and there are some of the EPs I haven't heard, and some of the soundtrack stuff I haven't heard, but I think it is the sexiest song that they've done.
Oh.
See, now I got to go back and listen to
right?
it.
Let me try something from this off here. Girl, I love you.
Oh, I think I have that one.
We know you love Justin. It's okay.
And I just closed
Yes, we do.
Just closed my list.
Bravo.
Good job.
It was a late last night cut for me. It was part of that last 10-9 thing that I had to agonize on.
Yeah, I got that one.
Word up. I was going to say, at least it was on your radar.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jenny?
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with Sly from Protection.
I have that.
Ooh, nice.
Apparently I don't.
I was kind of surprised.
I thought I did.
I was afraid that was going to be a swing and a miss. But I love how it has like a retro 60s kind of sound to it. Like
Yeah.
it has a James Bond theme kind of sound to it.
very much so.
Yeah.
Kind of a almost Goldfinger.
Yeah. I even looked up the singer to see if she had done anything like for that genre of songs, and I don't think that she had, but she very well could have done like a Goldfinger theme song or
Octopussy.
something. There you go.
All right. Jody?
Alrighty. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and run the other one I have for with Hope Sandoval on it. Paradise Circus.
Yup.
I thought I had it. Apparently I don't.
That song is so good.
Again, that's another one I was wrong. I'm clearly wrong because that's one we got like 2 or 3 times from listeners. So
That's one that I think that actually kind of brought me back into Massive Attack for a little while there, because it's the theme song to Luther.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't aware that it was their song, but I'm just watching the show and I was like, this sounds just like Massive Attack. And I looked it up and it was, and I was like, this is amazing. I didn't know they had more songs out, I love the like weird beat that the song has too. Like it's almost just the clapping, like
Yeah.
where it's kind of just offbeat enough to just kind of be unsettling. And that's one of the things I love about this band, is that sometimes they just do things like that just to be off a little bit.
They seem to be really big on having drum beats that are quarter note drum beats, but then they'll throw in like a 16th that's like 2 or 3 spaces off, like so that you've got this other background thing that doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. It's not wrong, it just doesn't fit. It makes you listen to it because you notice it, because it doesn't blend in with everything else.
So just to make it official, new trash protocol out the window. If nothing else hits from here on out, we pull the 6 that are in the combo right in, and
Okay.
we are good to go. So new trash protocol, forget about it. You don't have to worry about it. I'll try this one out here. Unfinished Sympathy.
Definitely.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. That's 5 through. All right, Jenny.
I watched actually a video not that long ago from, and I do not remember the man's name, but he works for Ableton, the music software company.
Right.
And he does a series for them where he will recreate songs that were built from samples and then perform it live. And he did that one, and he pulled all of the vinyl that was used to build that song and walks through with Ableton Live and a push 2 and shows you how to build the song.
Whoa.
And so it's like I got to watch this song be built from the ground up from somebody who deconstructed it listening to it.
That's neat. That is neat. And that's definitely a Jody thing.
Yeah.
All right, Jenny.
Okay, so this is going to be my last one from Blue Lines. And I I just wanted to say also, when I was listening to Blue Lines, I looked into it a little bit, and I realized that it came out in like 91 or 92. And I think I messaged you at the time because I had just done the Pearl Jam episode, and it struck me how different the sound was from Blue Lines to 10, like two completely different sounds. If I had listened to Blue Lines when I was 13, I wouldn't have gotten into the band. You know, I started at Mezzanine, kind of like what got your attention, and you kind of work backwards. I kind of did the same thing. It was so odd to me that, you know, in the same year, you've got this really slow, sexy groove type of sound, and then anger, you know? Yeah. And that's what, this caught my attention, you know, when I was early 20s versus my teens. It was so weird to me to think about it in that perspective.
And the funny thing is they would get lumped into the same, they'd be played on the same stations. They'd be lumped as the same alternative. Yeah. So weird.
So the song I chose was Lately.
Oh, nope.
No, Lately didn't make it in at all.
Dang.
That's going to help me.
Another miss.
Frame. Nope. Now's the time for them. Get them out there.
They just have it has that sexy sound that I like, you know.
Yeah. All right. Jody?
Well, then I suppose I will go ahead and play the last song I have from Blue Lines, which is Blue Lines.
I got it. So pull that over to the convos. All right. Now I'm trying to look at what we have. I'll go back to 100th window, even though I'm pretty sure I'm not going to land anything. How about Butterfly Caught?
That is one of the ones I have.
Yeah. That did not make it to the end.
That's all right. It's in the combo, though. All right, Jenny?
Let's see. I'm getting down to the last few-ish here. Dissolved Girl.
Yes, I got it.
Yep. Yeah, that was my number 3.
Wow. And just to... this may affect your gameplay from here out. That makes the third unanimous decision from Mezzanine.
I had a feeling that's why I asked.
Yeah.
And I just have to say too that like I don't use this word lightly. I don't feel like it's something that you can really say about artwork, but I feel like Mezzanine is probably the closest thing I've ever heard to a perfect album.
I really wrestled with not pulling all of it. I'm
It's
not
tough.
kidding.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at one point I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's like 9 tracks I need to...
Yeah.
And I just didn't add anything just on principle.
The only thing that I think is wrong with Mezzanine, and I can only, and I'm saying this with a caveat of it's only wrong because I can't stand to look at it. The album art is creepy as fuck. I cannot look at it without picking my feet up off the floor and twitching at every little hair that moves on my head. But it fits the album so well.
Right. Yeah. And again, I think that goes to them basically trying to unsettle us.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything about that album has it has some subharmonics that make some of the songs make your skin crawl and you don't know why. Mm-hmm. You should never listen to this song on cheap earbuds. Any song on this album from cheap earbuds. It needs a decent speaker. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because they use the harmonics in so many of their songs to induce a mood that you're not going to pick up on if you lose the low ends.
I think we were listening to 100th Window last night, and it was the first time I played the last track all the way through with the hidden track. Mm-hmm. And in between, there was just like this low drone.
Yeah, they don't silence it out. They leave.
Yeah, and we were just like, what is that noise? What the hell's going on? We were saying it's basically like the Eraserhead soundtrack, where like they put that kind of white noise in the background just to unsettle you.
Yeah.
Which wanted to go turn it off because I was like, I couldn't at the time. I was like, I can't handle this right now, but
it's
I appreciate it. Exactly.
When I listened to that one, I was in my car and my Bluetooth adapter battery had died, so I plugged it in, and there's this hum when it's charging while I'm using it. So as I'm getting to that song, I'm checking. I'm like, oh, well, I hear this hum. Oh, it's still plugged into power, so I unplug the power, and the hum doesn't go away. And like, oh, this is
It's
intentional.
haunted.
Spooky. All right. I think it's Jody's turn.
I think you're right.
I think. Yes, because Jenny played Dissolved Girl.
Okay, so I will go with what I believe to be... No, I'm wrong. I was going to say I think it's the last thing I have off of Protection, but I would be wrong. But it is the other song that Tracy Thorn did, so Better Things.
That's a miss for me.
Yeah, I don't have that. Nope. Perfect time for it, though.
Well,
I know it hurts when you miss.
Yeah.
but given everything else that hasn't, well, we had it.
Yep. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go to this last album, Heligoland. Heligoland? Oh, Heligoland. What about Babel?
Nope.
No.
Very interesting musical choices on these that last album.
Yeah.
Like I went away from framing to one sound, and I went for the ones that really interested me, like had interesting sound on that album. All right, Jenny.
I think I'm going to name my last one from that same album, so I don't have to say it again. And even though I think Mezzanine is technically just a all around good album, it's kind of almost perfect. I think their most recent album is my most favorite.
Oh.
I just like the diversity of sounds that's on it. I like the different voices, and I just like all the textures that they put in the music. The last choice I have from that is Pray for Rain.
Nope, I don't have that.
No, that did not make it through to the end for me.
That definitely frames up my gameplay. Let me count how many I have here real quick before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. I think I've got 9 left.
I've only got 4.
Weird. How do I have 9?
I have 7.
Interesting. All right, Jody.
Okay, well then I will go ahead and play my last one off of the German island Chang, so I also don't have to say it. Atlas Air.
I got it.
Oh, that's a good one, though.
I got it.
That probably would have been in my 25, but, hard cuts.
They have to be made. All right, let's trot some more out from Protection. Heat Miser.
I have that.
Oh,
Nope.
all right. All right,
Let's not make a big deal out of it.
All right, Jenny.
This is probably going to be a miss, but also from that album, Karma Coma.
I don't have it.
No.
But that was another one that the people chose. That was one of the ones. The people. All right, Jody.
Okay, now I will actually finish out that album. Eurochild.
I got it.
I feel like I'm just off from you guys on some of these, because that was in my top 25 also.
I love their raps.
I felt like I had to at least pull one, because I was telling you when I listened to Blue Lines, that was a turnoff. I was like, nah, I don't want that. That's not what I want at all. But then once you go through the rest of the discography and you go back, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can accept this.
And the thing that they've done with their raps, and especially on Blue Lines, is the lyrics have a message, but the way that the lyrics hit, the timing that they use, is part of the beat. Mm-hmm. So they're actually using the timing of those words as part of the beat that you're listening to, as well as an additional vehicle for telling you a story.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Vamp.
So, Jenny, isn't it weird that we lived so close to each other for so long, spent so much time not seeing each other, and now we are here? Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
The show has brought us back together.
I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm great or nothing,
But you're great.
But you're the best.
Great. You are the best.
I'm great. Any chance I get to pat my own
Especially when we send each other Pokemon Go gifts all the time.
know. Okay. See, I don't want to play this one, but it's staring at me. I'll hold on to it until later. Okay, how about Daydreaming?
Nope.
That's right. This is my first miss.
That was my number 22. That's the one I cut, felt bad about, and decided no more.
Yeah. Again, there has to be a line somewhere. So, let's see. I think we have 6 through all the way, and yeah, we are so good right now. 11 in the combo. We are so good right now, and I'm down to my last 5. All right, Jenny.
So I've got 3, and 2 of them were from Mezzanine. So I'm just going to throw that out. Like, I feel bad even mentioning them at this point, because if they hit, then it's like they're not going to get through, because we've already got like 3 on the list for them for that album.
Unless it's the one that we got.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Exchange.
Now, did you have a preference as to whether it was Exchange or the Reprise?
I think I went back and forth on this like a dozen times, and I think I basically settled on the first one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because I settled on the second one.
Figures. Listen to both.
But the only real difference between the two is that Horace Andy does vocals on the second one, where the first one is an instrumental.
Right. I think that maybe why I went towards the instrumental, because I like to throw in one of those, when I can. And I think that the Reprise works better in context of the album when you've already heard the instrumental in the album.
Yeah.
So, but really it could be either or for me.
Mm-hmm. So what am I doing? Am I putting it in the combo, or am I throwing it in the trash?
I'd say throw it in the combo, because like I said, really the only difference is between them is that Horace Andy has vocals on it.
Okay.
It's the same music.
Right. All right. So it is in the combo. Jody.
All right. I will play my last mezzanine. Or should we say, the last part of the album that we are now building again. And go with Black Milk.
Oh, I wanted to put that. That's one of my favorites on that album, and for some reason, it just didn't get onto my list.
That definitely made the first cut, and I think it was, we talk about 25, I'm pretty sure that one was right there at that 25 list. Well, I'll toss it out here because I'm looking at it, and I love it. Inertia Creeps.
That's the other one I have.
It made it, I think it was the first one that I cut out when I sat down last night.
Yeah.
And understanding, of course, that by cut out, I mean that it finally worked its way down to the bottom of 30 and fell off.
Again, there's got to be a line somewhere. All right. Jenny. So you got 2?
This is my last one.
Oh, okay.
Special Cases from 100th Window. That's the other Sinead O'Connor one. So that's the one that you bumped.
The one I cut to keep the other.
I don't got it.
It happens.
Initially.
It was basically a coin flip between that or What Your Soul Sings. So that one, for some reason, won at the very end. Like, it was probably like at 12:30 this afternoon.
All right, Jody.
All right.
Down to my last 4.
Are you? I've got 2, and 1 is off list.
Okay. So that one's not going to
I know that's out. So I'll go ahead and do it just because
so
I want to have it said. It is the title track from the Ritual Spirit EP. Ritual Spirit. It is. I tried to cut it because it was off list. I already had something else from that EP.
Right.
And no matter how hard I tried to make myself cut it out, I don't actually even have words. I don't think I do have words for why.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't have a reason. I just don't have words. I can't tell you what about that song stuck with me, but it's there.
Sometimes, well, it's like that takes me back to the Jimmy World conversation, the song "Crush" that I covered, which, by the way, patreon.com/oh hi Justin, you can hear that cover. You jam it in there where you can.
But you like to jam it in there, don't you?
Yeah. I can't tell you what it is about Crush that I like. I mean, it's got a great energy, but the lyrics are pretty basic. There's nothing like amazing about the guitar, but it's just something about the way it all comes together. And then it's very aurally pleasing. Doing a lot of phrasing. Sometimes it's on purpose.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bounce this one off you. A Prayer for England. And I'm sorry. Because Jenny just had to use the kids' bathroom.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure I've peed in much worse places than that.
Yeah, you see that, Liam? You see what you've done?
It was not that bad.
I do have a song left from 100th Window, but that is not it.
All right. Now's the time for misses. All right, Jody, toss your last one out there.
Future Proof.
That's the one I got.
Cool.
All right, so that'll make the convo. And just to clear it out, I got One Love made it through, and Splitting the Atom also made it through for me.
I had Splitting the Atom until last night.
Wow.
I could have basically put all of Mezzanine and all of H Word. And that's like to be honest, I would almost just tell somebody to just listen to Mezzanine first. Listen to our list, but also just listen to Mezzanine.
If you like the list, then listen to all of Mezzanine.
And listen to it start to finish.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't listen to it on a shuffle. Listen to it all the way through. Even if there's a song you hit that you don't really care for, that album as a whole plays well as one piece.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing for making this list is usually if there's an album that I like from start to finish, it's hard for me to pull songs from it because I like them as a whole, like as a piece, But then, vice versa, if I like just certain songs, I don't necessarily like the entire album. So but Mezzanine works on both levels. I like the entire thing, and then I like so many individual songs from it that I'll put on playlists of my own. So,
like I said, I pulled a lot from Mezzanine, but then when I went back through the next time, it had that effect of, it worked better in the album, so I don't need it anymore. That's part of what made the cuts easier. I was like, it just works better. This is a great tune. Works better in the album. All right. It's gone. So sometimes you got to make it easy for yourself. All right, so we've got 6 all the way through. Teardrop, Unfinished Sympathy, Dissolved Girl, Angel, Protection, Saturday Comes Slow. And into the convo, we have Safe from Harm, The Spoils, Blue Lines, Girl I Love You, Paradise Circus, Atlas Air, Heat Miser, Eurochild, Sly, Inertia Creeps, Future Proof, Exchange, Butterfly Caught, What Your Soul Sings. I don't feel like I'm going out on too much of a limb saying Losing Exchange and Inertia Creeps at this point is probably a safe bet.
I think we just put it out there too. That just listen to the entire album. It's fantastic.
Yep. Anything jumping out? Let's see.
I think definitely Butterfly Caught, just to represent that album, and I think that's the strongest.
Yeah.
For me, that was the strongest song on that album. That was one that I almost kind of, and this is going to sound harsh, but I almost kind of had to force myself to put songs from that album, and then I kind of went overboard a little bit, and then had to reel it back in. But that was the one that didn't move at all. So
it was there.
It was. I think it was actually there even from the first cut. That was the only one that got through from that album. So that's my vote.
How do you feel about Butterfly Caught?
Well, it never made my list at all, but that was more a knowing that I would have cut it. It was nothing against the song at all. I don't have any problem with it being there. I think it deserves to be there. It just wasn't. It didn't grab me in my first listen. And if I don't get a grab in the first listen, it probably isn't going to make it in my list.
So we'll slide it through. That gives it 7. Is anything else jumping out that you feel like has to?
I really think The Spoils should be there.
Okay. Look,
I'll back you on that.
I obviously didn't listen to it. I can't make a play against it. But clearly it hit you two the right way. So I have no problem pushing that one through.
And I would recommend at some point anybody who listens to it to actually, go to YouTube, find it, and watch the video when you listen to it.
So that brings us to 8.
And definitely watch it. It's not something that any of their videos that I've seen, you can't just put them on in the background and kind of half watch it. You need to watch it and see the detail and the artistry that they put into it.
The visual is its own experience. They work together. You have to gather them together to understand them. But the visual is its own experience. You can't just watch TV, watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like looking at a painting or something.
Yeah.
You're seeing an entire piece.
So 3 times through, and every time I see something different.
All right. So we've got 8. We need 2 more from these. Safe from Harm, Blue Lines. Let's listen for stuff that we feel like we can get rid of. Safe from Harm, Blue Lines, Girl I Love You, Paradise Circus, Atlas Air, Heat Miser, Eurochild, Sly, Future Proof, and What Your Soul Sings. Now, What Your Soul Sings was technically on all 3 of ours. Do we put any weight on that or lose it here? Is it strong enough to be one of the 10?
Maybe. In fact, now that you said that, because of the way that I screwed up doing my little list thing here, I'd almost maybe even put that instead of Butterfly Caught.
Oh, really?
For 100th Window.
So put that through, then lose Butterfly Caught and Future Proof. Just have that be.
I think so.
Because I don't think we need more than one from that album.
I don't think so either. And yeah, it's not a bad album by any means, but I think it
works better as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it has kind of like a higher learning curve, I guess, than some of the other albums.
None of those songs really work well outside the context of the band. They're all good. They all have a place, but it's kind of like reading a chapter out of a book.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I picked up chapter 7 of this book I've never seen before, and okay, the writing's good, but I don't understand what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Whereas What Your Soul Sing is kind of like, it's pretty straightforward as far as a song goes.
Yeah, it has a self-contained message.
Yes.
It works with all the others and helps bolster the other song's message, but it also stands out well enough on its own that it doesn't really need an explanation. It's kind of like reading chapter 1.
Yeah, there you go. So we have 1 through From Protection. I'd argue that it's the one from Protection, but we have 3 left in the convo. Heat Miser, Eurochild, and Sly. Do we think we can lose any of them, or do we think one of them absolutely has to be in?
I don't know if I necessarily go as far as say it has to be in, but if we're going to lose them, I would not lose Sly.
You would not lose Sly. Okay.
See, I love Sly, but I'm looking at the list of what we have, and I'm kind of almost thinking Eurochild, just to because it has that rap aspect of it.
Yeah,
that was what I was going to say. I don't think we have anything.
That was one of the tricky songs.
Yes, it is,
and I don't think we have a whole lot of representation of him.
Not
and
a lot. No.
He's very essential to their early sound to me.
I think probably the reason why I would lean more to Sly, and I'm not going to argue if you two want that one. I have no problem with it, and understand why when I tell you this. I kept trying to cut Eurochild. I kept trying to cut it in order to make space for something else because I had so many songs from Protection. I did that with that, and I did that with Blue Lines because I had so many of both of them that I needed to cut something, and I kept trying. But it never made it farther down than number 7 in my list.
Yeah, well,
and I think it's funny that I'm arguing against a song that I included. You're arguing against the song that you included.
Yeah. I will say this. So Heat Miser's out.
Yeah. You out of here. You're gone.
We learned that much at least. All right, so let's verse these against each other. Girl I Love You, Paradise Circus, and Atlas Air.
Not Girl I Love You.
Lose it?
Lose it. I say lose it.
It hurts, but I'll agree with that.
Bum, bum, bum. Into the trash you go. Go in the trash. Go in it. Stop fighting me. There you go.
It's okay, girl. I love you. You were like number 25, and I didn't want to let you go. I got room in my life for you, so you can come back later.
It's your side piece song.
Ew. Okay, so now we're down to 6. We have 2 picks left. Safe from Harm, Blue Lines, Paradise Circus, Atlas Air, Eurochild, Sly. I still think Jennie makes a great case with Eurochild. It was what I was thinking initially anyway. we have Saturday Come Slow from the H word.
I really feel like that one, like I said, even though I didn't even include that, I think it helps to round out their sound. We have a lot of the female voice, and that was the bias that I was referring to earlier. Like I am heavily biased towards their songs with the female voices that like kind of sexy sound. But I just feel like you have to have something with that sound for them because it's a part of them. So if we could pop both Eurochild and Slide Through, finish our list, and just lose everything else because nobody seems to be jumping to the defense of anything else. I keep looking at Paradise Circus, though.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Dun, 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 dun. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Because you guys love hearing me say that, I'm sure.
I mean, the other thing about Paradise Circus, though, is that you're going to have two with Hope Sandoval's voice, which I'm sure you don't mind.
No, not at all.
It's so good.
Don't do this to me. Oh, there's all those remixes at the bottom, too.
I'm just going to go home and watch Luther now, I think.
See, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Let's give it a little bit of... See, I like this.
And at this song, now I'm done.
Yeah.
As soon as the synths hit, I'm done.
What else we got here that we need to...
You know, go back to that one. I know you have like a limit on how much you can play before you get in trouble with it or
What do I
whatever, but maybe if we talk over it enough, nobody will notice.
Yeah.
I kind of almost feel like maybe this satisfies that what I was looking for in Eurochild too, and then maybe we kind of kill two birds with one stone. We have something from Paradise Circus or from H Word with a little bit of the rap aspect to it. And we're getting more representation from that album too.
And then pull Slide Through too.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Does that sound like the plan?
Sounds right.
Let's pull Atlas Air and
But I'm just looking at Paradise Circus like, no!
Come back to me, Hope. Come back.
It's dropping off the cliff in slow motion. No.
But I mean, you think about it; it's been heavily weighted into the conversation. So, like, sometimes again, there has to be a line somewhere.
Yeah.
There has to be a line somewhere.
That's the game.
That's so the game, and it is a game. Bobby Fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Playing again tomorrow. He still thinks it's not a game, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it to you to make it a game because it makes it much more fun. All right, so here's our 10: Teardrop, Unfinished Sympathy, Dissolved Girl, Angel, Protection, Sly, Saturday Come Slow, Atlas Air, What Your Soul Sings, and The Spoils. So, Jennie, I'm going to start with you. What's the number one with a bullet?
You know, I kept thinking about this for the past 2 weeks, and I am having trouble, so much trouble. Because at first I didn't realize that this was also going to be your number one on the list, too, right? So I think you got to have the strong open, but it's also going to be something that represents them and their sound. I lean towards Unfinished Sympathy.
Okay.
But I don't know that works at the beginning of the list. And that's where I've been having the problem. Because that's a very like Massive Attack song.
You want me to let you off the hook?
Angel could work.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I think that is the opening track of Mezzanine, as I recall.
Yep. It's a little slow burner, but it gets there. The second I heard that, I was like, oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted.
Pencil me in for Angel, I think.
Okay. All right, Jody. God, that's gritty.
That's it.
You want me to let you off the hook?
No.
This was probably harder than making the list.
Yes. I had 30. I'll do this. Mm-hmm. I can't give you one.
Okay.
I'll give you two.
All right.
I'll give you two. Dissolved Girl or Atlas Air.
Okay. Interesting. So we're about to have more conversation, it seems.
Uh-oh.
I had a feeling. That's how this is going to go.
Give it a little bit of a taste. Because obviously I had Dissolved Girl, so I'm not against it.
To me, that's just too much. It's too slow for an opening track on the list, as well as the, being their sound or whatever, like quintessential sound.
Now, let me...
And I know we just listened to Atlas Air.
No, we did.
But in a different context.
Yeah. So now we got to listen to it in this context. Oops. I don't know, like in the striking, this is the first thing you're going to hear kind of way. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's right on brand. Mm-hmm. All right. But I have to toss this one out just because it's the one that's been on my mind. Ooh. I want to play it, a little bit of it, just to see if it even works in this context.
Okay.
Protection.
Oh, you know what?
It's a track one, and I feel like it's on brand sound-wise, but it's also on brand. It's a little lengthy, but it's also on brand for like their message. I feel like.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. It does. It does give you a sense of what they say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this was the one that I've been thinking about all along. So,
I'm fine with that, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had 30 songs. There isn't a single one of those 30 you could pick, and I would go, no.
Okay, so do we want to go with Protection then?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let me bump that up to the top. It was a unanimous decision, so it's not like it's I'm just forcing my will.
And that's the thing with them, because of the way that they craft their albums. Like there is a beginning, middle, and end, and that is a beginning song. Just like Angel is. Like when we heard Atlas Air, like it struck me as, it's a good song, and it sounds like it would be good as an opening. But maybe because I've listened to the album so much, like I know that's a later. Yeah. So like it was like, oh, it tastes wrong at the beginning of the playlist.
All right. Well, let's run it down one last time. Protection at the top, number one with a bullet, Teardrop, Unfinished Sympathy, Dissolved Girl, Angel, Sly, Saturday Come Slow, Atlas Air, What Your Soul Sings, and The Spoils. Which means I got to dig that up. That's on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'll dig that up and add it to the list. I got to say, that's a good 10. And go in with an open ear, because it's not your typical alternative, but it's kind of right in that same pocket at the same time. Like if you go in with the open ear and just listen to it, you will enjoy it, and it will fill your ear holes.
Yes,
and
best with headphones.
Yes, with headphones, or if you've got a good sound system in a room that doesn't have a lot of echo in it, then find a comfortable place to recline, set the lights low, the bass high, and play Take It There. Seriously.
Jody likes to set the mood.
Yeah.
Bring someone along for the ride if you want to.
So, I like to start doing this on air now. Jennie, I'm trying to think of what you've got on the horizon here.
Oh my gosh.
You're on a few panels, but I don't think anything's made it to group phase yet.
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody to do a couple of kind of off the wall ones with me. And I know I'm like reaching. I'm looking for somebody to do Southern Culture and the Skids.
Right.
The High Strung, and I know I'm like pretty much the only one that listens to them. Maybe have somebody for that. But if anybody else is interested, maybe even a Discovery, let us know. I can't remember what else I'm on the list for.
I know there was some Discovery that actually both of you jumped in on recently.
Oh, the Eels, I think?
Well, there was the Eels, but there was something else too.
Yeah, there was
Toadies.
The Toadies.
Yes, it was the
That's
Toadies.
the Toadies. So
I know one song.
I mean,
Pretty
yeah.
much everybody does, yeah.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
And
But I
still
love
one
that
of-
one song.
Yeah, one of my
Also true.
favorite episodes that I've ever done is the Super Drag episode. I still listen to Super Drag because I kind of like forced myself to get into the discography and found so much more than that one song that annoyed the crap out of me on the radio.
It is so funny though, like when you think about Super Drag, like how they're nothing like that one song.
No,
like even the
no.
other single from that album was a much better representation of Super Drag sound. Anyway, we talked about that before. Jody's going to be all over Deprogrammed in the coming
Yeah.
months.
So I'll bring a cot next time.
Just stay the night, man. It'll be fine. All right. So I'm going to run it down one last time since we had a little bit more conversation here. Protection, Teardrop, Unfinished Sympathy, Dissolve Girl, Angel, Sly, Saturday Come Slow, Atlas Air, What Your Soul Sings, Despoils. That's the 10. That'll get you into the band. And what will get you into the club is patreon.com/ohhijustin. Join the club, man. Actually, I think it may actually be a legitimate membership soon because there's an idea out there.
Can we get secret decoder rings?
Yes.
Yes!
I want secret decoder rings immediately, if not sooner. If you're listening and can provide those to me, please do. But you get this show, the Deprogrammed program, 3 full days before the rest of the world. You get Oh Hi Justin 7 full days before the rest of the world, and that's a 5-day pod. I'm just saying that's, 50 minutes of Justin a week. Then you get hashtag WrestlePals, the upcoming project that Jennie and I are working on. You get hopefully your music show coming back soon. Also, These Ghouls tunes, These Ghouls covers, perhaps a comic book, perhaps a radio station, perhaps whatever else. I'm working on a lot of stuff. You can help me make it happen. And I appreciate the two of you who are both patrons. I appreciate
All the
that.
cool kids are doing it.
It's because we rock.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is very
A
true.
little to the left because of a twitch, but you know.
All right, so we're going to get on out of here. Massive Attack, learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week for My Chemical Romance. Bye.